Okay, in this video we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials, and pretty much everything that we talk about is going to come down to distribution. So remember that distribution gives us a way to deal with things like 2x plus 3, where we can't do the order of operations and simplify inside the parentheses. So order of operations would tell us to do parentheses and then multiplication, but we can't do that here because 3 and x are not like terms. We can't put them together. So if you think about this, what this is telling us to do is it's telling us to do 2 times this whole thing. So 2 times x plus 3. So like if this was apples and this was oranges, we can't put together apples and oranges, like the old saying. But if I want to double my apples and oranges, that means I would double my apples and I would double my oranges. I can't just double the apples. I've got to double them both. So that idea gives us distribution. Okay, so we do 2 times x, we do 2 times 3, and we get 2x plus 6. All right, so we can extend that on and do bigger multiplication items, like let's say we've got 3x squared times 5x cubed minus 2x plus 8. Okay, so if we want to distribute this, then we would just make sure that everything on the inside gets multiplied by everything on the outside. And then when we do this, we've got to use our multiplication rules. So we would have, let's go ahead and write this out. So we'd have 3x squared times 5x cubed minus 3x squared times 2x plus 3x squared times 8. And we would use all of our exponent rules and multiplication to put this together. So we would have 15 x squared times x cubed would be x to the 5th, minus 3 times 2 would be 6, x squared times x, remember we add the exponents together, that would be x cubed, plus 8 times 3 is 24, and we just have the x squared. Okay, so we use our exponent rules to multiply out, and then when we get down to our last line, we look for any like terms. There are no like terms here, so I don't combine. Remember, in order to add or subtract, they have to be identical. X squared can only combine with x squared. X cubed can only combine with x cubed. Okay, so that's the basic idea for distribution. All right, now we can also use this for things that are not just one term outside, but we could have 2 terms outside. So let's say we have like x plus 1 times x plus 4. Okay, so if we think of this as one group, okay, we would take this and we would distribute here, and we would distribute here. Okay, so we would get x plus 1 times x, and we would get x plus 1, sorry, that's a 1, times 4, and then we would distribute again. So distribute, 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 and we would get x squared plus x plus 4x plus 4. Okay, so x squared here plus x plus 4x plus 4, and now we can combine like terms. X's go with x's, and we get x squared plus 5x plus 4. Okay, so we can distribute 2 terms over 2 terms or even more. Now for this one, there's a shortcut, okay, that does both of these distribution steps all at once, and that's called FOIL. So it's first, outer, inner, and last, and it gives us these 4 combinations all at once. So the first means the first terms in each group, that's right here. The outer, let's see if I can do this, outer is the outer 2 terms. That's this one. It's a little bit out of order from when I did the distribution, but we get there in the end. And then the inner would be the inner 2 terms of the grouping, so that would be this, and that's right here. And then the last would be these 2. Okay, so this one and this one give us that one. Okay, so FOIL gives us these 4 terms without having to do 2 steps of distribution. So let's try a couple with the FOIL shortcut. First, outer, inner, last. Okay, really it's just distribution, but it's a shortcut. All right, so let's try x plus 4, x plus 5. Okay, so first, outer, inner, and last. Okay, those are our steps for FOIL. So first gives us x squared, outer gives us 5x, inner gives us 4x, and last gives us 20. Okay, and then usually when it's in this form, x plus or minus a number, we should be able to combine the middle two terms, which we can, and we get 9x plus 20. All right, let's try one with different signs. Let's say we have x minus 3, x plus 7. Okay, first, outer, inner, last. So we're going to get x squared plus 7x. Okay, x squared plus 7x. And then here we're going to get minus 3x. We've got to make sure we take that sign with us. And then minus 21. So we're going to get x squared plus 4x minus 21 when we combine those two terms. The OI of the oil should combine. Okay, let's try one with the other two. Let's say we have x plus 4x minus 3. Okay, so first, outer, inner, last. We're going to get x squared minus 3x plus 4x minus 12. Okay, so that's going to give us x squared, and then the minus 3 and plus 4 is going to give us plus 1x, or just plus x, minus 12. Okay, so we've done plus, plus, minus, plus, plus, minus. Our last combination would be minus, minus. So let's try x minus 5, x minus 6. Okay, first, outer, inner, last. So we're going to get x squared minus 6x minus 5x plus 30. Okay, so we get minus 6x minus 5x, but when we do the last, negative 5 times negative 6 is going to give us plus 30. We can combine the middle two terms, and we get negative 11x plus 30. Okay, so this is kind of all the combinations of signs. So now let's go through and notice what we've got going on here. So if I start with plus plus, everything is going to be positive. Okay, if I have minus plus, these two are minus plus. So right here and here, right here and here. Okay, so they're opposite signs, so this one is going to end up negative. Okay, this sign right here is going to end up negative. The sign in the middle is going to depend on which number is bigger. So negative 3, positive 7, the positive number is bigger, so this one ends up bigger. And then same thing here. Okay, the bigger one is positive, so it ends up positive right here. Okay, so not something you need to memorize. It'll help us later, but it's good to note that. It'll work, even if you don't notice it, it'll still work out right. But it's good to notice these things. All right, and then our last combination, they're both negative right here and here. Negative times negative is positive. Negative plus negative is negative. Okay, so those signs will always work out that way. All right, another thing to notice is that these two numbers, actually I need to include the sign. Okay, so plus 4 plus 5, they multiply to give us this number. Let me do a little star for multiplication. Okay, they multiply to give us this number, they add to give us this number. So 4 plus 5 is 9, 4 times 5 is 20, and we see that up here. Okay, negative 3 times 7 is, oh my goodness, I didn't even notice that. Okay, sorry, this should be a 21 right here. Sorry about that. I wrote it up here and then I changed it to a 20 right here. Okay. Okay, negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. All right, so it multiplies to be this number. Negative 3 plus 7 gives us positive 4. It adds to be this number. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 4 plus negative 3 is positive 1. Okay, negative 5 times negative 6 is positive 30. Negative 5 plus negative 6 is negative 11. So they always multiply to be the last number and add to be the middle number.